Minecraft Golden Age, episode 1124? 24? I think it's 24, 23. One of the two. One of the two. But hopefully you're all doing alright and staying safe, and hello and welcome back. Just gonna, setting up secondary device there. So, it's been a little while since our last episode, so I do apologise. I need to get back into that, My PC was making a noise there. It's not in the best of shape. But hopefully you're all doing alright and staying safe, and hello, welcome back. So, what are we needing to do? I just hear my PC crackly, every once in a while. All I'm just thinking back is, when you used to wrap your Xbox 360s in a towel, a wet towel, and it would overheat and the solder points would resolder? It's just reminded me of that for some reason. Or it's one of the fans being faulty. I never did replace, the fan on it that long ago. So it's probably the same fan that was, acting up all those, long time ago. Alright. So, I was wondering what that was there for a second. Wojtek, you scared the life out of me. I thought you were floating there for a second. Gary, what are you doing on my roof? Gary, what are you doing on my roof? Oh, Gary. That's Gary for you, I tell you. Gary. Gary on my roof. Alright. So, we're gonna go and gather up some materials today. That being that we primarily need glass. Actually, we do have some glass. I thought I reused all of my glass up, but no. I do actually have some glass. We might be able to finish this. We might be able to finish this. Back to the mines. Back to the mines. We're going back to work, I tell you. You thought we were taking a day off. No, we're back into the mines. Back into the workforce. I really do like this, area so far, I tell you. It's really looking quite nice. Alright. Oh, I do actually have yellow stained glass already. I actually need to move this yellow stained glass here. So I'll remove that. Oh, thank you for the check-in, Applebone. Hopefully you're doing right and staying safe. Hopefully my PC does not crackle anymore. I get such a fright when it starts crackling. I think it's one of the fans that are acting up, I tell you. Or, need another power thingy, whatever you call it again. Power brick thing. One of the two. Very expensive these days. Alright. So, what are we needing? Trying to remember what we needed. I'm gonna hydrate. I needed a bucket of water. I needed a bucket of water. I had to look in that chest there and just think to myself, what did I need? I needed a bucket of water. Because I accidentally broke our last one. So now I need to go grab another bucket of water. There we go. I really do like what we have going on over here. I really want to break down that old windmill. It's not really old, it's the second or third windmill? Might be the third windmill. But I really want to work on it again and create an entirely new windmill. I have a bunch of goals I want to try and complete before, a certain point of the series. And I'm going to try and do as many of them as possible. Alright. So, let me check. Everything here is all... Gotta just start that issue. Just going along like this. Alright. Yeah, I should probably just remove those, Let me just break this. I thought there was a torch there for a second that was just pitch black. I think it was actually on top of the glass. Alright, let me break all of this because we need to bring this all up by one block. We were going to do the depth effect, but That's not really necessary, to be honest. I just break this all here. And I need to make a room, I tell you, I need to make a room. There we go. I'll have to empty out my backpack once this is all sorted. Alright. So, let me go grab the orange, place the orange there. That orange is already placed, and that orange over there must be placed as well. Yep. So, orange is no longer needed, but yellow is. So, let me go and start filling in all of this here as much as I can. Grab the next stack and look for that crafting table. I thought I placed down a crafting table, but I guess not. Yeah, there is no way up. I need to place that there. Yes, the block that I'm supposed to be using, I use it for towering up. Alright. So I need at least 3 of this. That's 24. And now if we head over there and grab that. Wait, I almost forgot to fill in this. There we go. Alright, so let me break that. Do all of that. I was wondering why I was not picking it up there. The orange in there. I tell you, that's stone. No. It looks so dark there that it looked like the stone, the regular stone, that stone. It does, you know, it does really look like that. It does really look like that. Maybe it's not on your perspective if you're watching this on, like, you know, mobile or something. Also, I do apologise if my throat's a little bit singy. I've not done one of these streams in a little while, so my throat is just a little bit, you know, out of shape. That's what I'll say, out of shape. Alright. So, let us go and fill all of that in. Yep, I'm gonna need at least a tiny bit more. But you know what? We'll skim over that now and we'll come back and finish that off after. Alright. Purple. Purple will go down here, so why don't I just make a big line going across this entire bit here? There we go. Grab the blue. The blue go right here. And on the other side as well. Okay. I do actually have a crafting table on me. Instead of me going back and forth, we'll just grab the crafting table, place it there, and I'll just place it in this corner here. Just remind me to pick it up in like a little tiny bit. Alright. So, let me go and grab a bit of glass that is blue. Fill all of this in. There we go. And then I need to fill in all of this. And I just do not have enough for this slice here. I will probably be out of glass. I am looking really dry on the glass. That might become problematic. So grab me that. Let me see if I can... I needed a lot more than I thought I needed. Alright, I would need at least 2. That's what we'll say. We need at least 2. So, we'll grab 2 stained blue glass. And we'll fill all of this in. And perfect. That was actually correct. I was very surprised that was actually correct there. And it's all lined up. And now we need lime. I do actually have some lime glass on me, so let me start filling in a bit of this area then, so that we can kind of get an idea of what we're going with here. You can kind of start to see what I'm going with here, and it's actually looking quite nice. The only problem is it's going to look a little bit dark underneath, and that'll be fixed when I add the glowstone in the ceiling. Hopefully it looks better with that. Other than that, you know, it's going to be not the best looking, and that's something that I do not want to happen. It needs to look good. I want to honor our previous, you know, version of the storage room. Alright, so let's go and fill in all of this here. Actually, that was a sizable, chunk of this, actually. I was very surprised there. Let me grab some of that. 4? No, that's not gonna be enough, but it shall get us a good chunk, there. So, let us go and we'll fill in all of this here. And go like that. Bam. Not too bad, not too bad at all. Alright, oop. I was trying to grab that there and it just did not want to go into my inventory. Alright. So let us go and go like... Oop. I was trying to get myself up there, but it was just not for going up. Alright. So we only have a few bits of glass needed here, but I'll fill that in a few minutes. We'll leave that just open there. So remind me, 5 glass there, 3 bits of yellow. So you know what, I'll mark that down. 3 yellow and 5 lime. Any blue that needs done? I think we needed like 2 blue, no? No? Yeah, we're perfect on that then. Let's see. Purple dye. Now it's time for the purple. So, this is probably going to take a little bit more than our previous one. That's what we'll try and not have too much. Don't want to accidentally go a little bit overboard. Alright. I did actually have some of the glass left over. I could have just used some of that. You only see it after you do the thing, There we go. That's 64 purple glass. Now, I do not think that will be enough for this entire bit, but it will get us a sizable chunk there. Alright. So, let us go and go like this. And there we go. That's one side of that done. Now we'll head over this side. And go like this. Fill in all of that. And then we'll fill all of this. Not too bad at all. And we'll go like this. And almost there, bam. Not bad. Not bad at all. Now all we need is 6. There's another 6 there. And that'd be 1. That's 4, 5, yeah? So that's 12. Okay, so that's 12 right there. Okay, so that's 12. Almost forgot that one block there. So 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. That's an uneven one then. So that's me gotta have to use 3 8s. 3 8s to make that. Okay, that's not too bad, but it's very annoying that I have to waste that much on it. Alright. I think I'll start with the ceiling, to be honest. I think that's what I'll sort first before we continue. We'll sort out the ceiling. I need to actually get out my inventory. I'll actually grab that red glass because I will put the red glass and the other coloured glasses where they're supposed to be, the now, and then we'll sort them into their own. Really, I fell into the one spot that does not have the bit to get up. Let me go over by 2 blocks. Place that there, bam. I had to fall into the only bit that was open up. Oh, there we go. And we had tons of glass I could use. Actually, I think we have enough purple glass. Very surprised. No, wait. Is that the right glass? Yeah, that's the right glass. We actually do have enough purple glass to finish off this bit here. That was very surprising, actually. I was not expecting to find that there. Blue, don't really need. Lime, I needed none of. I already finished off lime. No wait, no, I did not. We had those 5 blocks over here. And let me go like this. That in there. Just shove that there. Makes it look a little bit organized. Yellow. Can fill in all of that. Now that yellow's complete. That should be all of them actually. Yeah, that is all the floor done now. I was not expecting to do that fast this episode. What time are we at? 15 minutes, you know. Not too bad, not too bad at all. Alright. Now let us go and we'll start to chop out the ceiling. I have to use my secondary axe for this. There we go. I will probably keep the similar design idea with this brick. I really do like the brick, but I don't think I'll use it as much, or I might use it as much. I'm not very, 100% sure there just yet. But we are extending the ceiling up a little bit, so it would be a little bit awkward if I left it at the same height as, it is now. Alright, so that should all be brought up by 1 block, so... Well, this is all going to be needing a transformation. Alright. Let me shove my dyes in here so that I do not have to deal with them. And so we'll be breaking that direction. We will probably have to do up the walls, so how about we break the entire walls down? So let me break this. And we'll come back to the walls and, redesign them. I might actually just go with my, signature green that we've been going with. Because I do feel like the signature green is a lot nicer. And also kinda, fits it a little bit better than what we had previously. Let's see, that being white terracotta. White terracotta is nice, but at the same time it just has too much pink pigment that just, it's not white, but it's not like, perfect. Like, it's nice to have around, but at the same time, it's a really hard. Also, I realized this is not even. This is not even. This door is not even. I'm looking at it and it's not even. It is really bugging me. It is really bugging me. I guess I could expand it. Well, that's not the problem. It's this. It needs to be expanded by 1 block. So that should be there. To be its door here. So yeah, this should be brought over by 1 block. I don't know why it is 1 short, but I guess we'll have to sort that eventually. We won't sort it now because it'd take too long. Let us do the ceiling and then we'll see how much time we have left in this episode. And we'll see what we'll do afterwards. Alright. So let us go and break all of this here. There's some iron in the ceiling there. I might nick that in a little bit. I don't want to dig too deep, but I will have to, do the ceiling eventually. So, it does not really matter if I, I did think about doing rainbow ceiling lights. That would be pretty nice. But at the same time, too expensive, I've already exhausted most of my, coloured glass supply. Oop. The one bit I fall into is a gap that, I never filled in. I didn't really need to fill it in, so I never filled it in. Now, any of yous who are watching, please watch out for any creepers, they might spawn and, warn me about it. Now I'm just imagining that one, scene from, what's called Breaking Bad. The soundproof Jeep. That just cracks me up, just thinking about that. I feel used to be like, trying to warn me of that creeper that's slowly approaching behind me. Alright. So let us go and I'll put that in the backpack. Don't have no I do have that there. I saw I did not have a coal block in there, but I do. I sorted out my inventory by accident when I went to hit. I meant to hit the E button, but I hit R and it's reorganize. Alright. Put that in there. Grab all of this brick. I tell you, I really gotta sort out my problematic backpack sorting. Like, I have such a good backpack, but the storage system is what's, really letting me down now. We need to sort out the entire storage system that actually, have the materials all there. But I can also shove all of the excess material. Alright. So let me go and grab all of this. There we go. And grab that. And grab that. Bam! Not bad, not bad at all. Alright, now let us mine out the ceiling some more. Now, should we go for one block of the ceiling getting raised, or should we do something else? Now, when it comes to ceilings, I tell you, I'm terrible at ceiling work. Like, I've tried my best to make the best kind of ceilings, and I am terrible for ceilings. I don't know what it is, I just cannot get ceilings right. I can get walls right. There's a lot of builds in my world that just do not have a ceiling, because I'm not, lazy. But it's just because of, I'm not good at making ceilings, so I just don't make the ceiling. I would fit into some of those, Minecraft SMPs, that are popular than them never finishing their back of the builds and all that. I never finished the roof of my build. No roof. Alright, let's go and mine out the last of this. We are nearing the end of today's episode, so I'll try and get as much of this as done as possible. And then we'll see what we're doing for the walls. I did plan on extending, or at least doing a lot of these, wall stuff around here. But I am worried I might run into another build. And I think I might actually be reorganizing a lot of my builds, because there is a few builds that are very nice, but do need to be reorganized. I think I might actually return back to the Mother's Day project and reorganize the Mother's Day project. Like, make a remaster of that. Because Mother's Day is coming up again, in the UK. So, I might as well get around to doing this now. Because it would make, perfect sense to do it now. Alright. So, let us go and we'll grab all of this. There we go. This is a lot of blocks. I was not expecting this many blocks. And I'm full on inventory space again. At least I have tons of fossils, so when it comes to when we're doing all the dinosaur stuff, at least we have extra fossils. I'm actually thinking about doing some shrinking down on my world. I don't actually know if I still have MC Select. I must have MC Select. I might have uninstalled MC Select. But I'm planning on getting MC Select back and then using it to delete some of my chunks. That being, I'll probably delete a lot of the chunks over here. I really do want to do all of the builds over this way, We have, this house over here. But I think I'll probably have to delete, like, all of this. Like, I like seeing, like, different stuff like this. But I think it just needs to go, whatever. Just needs to go. Wildlands 2. That's where I planned on doing Wildlands 2. It would be pretty cool, to be honest. It would be pretty cool to do Wildlands 2 there. But there's just, like, so many chunks in my world. I think this is, like, a big, thing here. I need to delete a lot of those chunks and then also, fix a lot of my other chunks. Like, I would love to, unscrape all of this black stuff off of my map, but I just don't have the memory drive for it, gang. Maybe I should put that as, like, something that we should get for the extra memory drive. Those, it's super expensive now. you know, that whole data center stuff. Yeah, that actually looks pretty nice. Alright, we have hit the end of today's episode, so I will be ending off here. So, hopefully you enjoyed it. Have a nice day, stay safe, possible. Thanks for vitamins, very important. And bye, see you soon, bye bye.